Today we're going to look at solving equations with fractions. All right, so I have this equation here, and I've got it on here twice because I'm going to solve it two different ways. All right, so this first way, I've got, here's my variable right there. So this plus 1/2, I need to minus 1/2 on both sides. Okay, I'm going to do that. This goes away, and I've got 5/6 times b equals, and when I subtract these, they don't have common denominators, so you have to make the denominators match. Well, 8 and 2, they both go into 8, so this one's okay. This 2 goes in 8 4 times, so I multiply both the top and bottom by 4, and that's going to be 4 over 8. So that's 7/8 minus 4/8, which is 3/8. All right. Now, I've got 5/6 times b, so I need to divide both sides by 5/6, which makes this cancel off, and b is going to equal 3/8 divided by 5/6. Well, when you divide fractions, and you learn this back like in 4th grade, keep, change, flip. You keep this first fraction, you change from divide to multiply, and you flip that fraction. And so we're going to multiply these two. All right, well, when I do now, I see here I can cross cancel right here. See, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 8 4 times. And there you go. I've got 3 times 3, which is 9. I'll put my answer right there. And then 4 times 5 is 20. And there you go. There's what b has to be. All right, so b is 9 over 20. Now, I'm going to show you a different way, and you can try doing it this way if you'd rather. Either way works. But I look at my denominator, 6 and 2 and 8, and I look for the least common multiple. Well, 2 goes into both 6 and 8, so I don't have to worry about the 2. Just look at the 6 and the 8, find the least common multiple for those. What does 6 go into that 8 goes into? You can do it by writing out the bigger one. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32, and so on. And then look and see which one of those 6 goes into, and 6 goes into 24. So 24 is my common multiple, least common multiple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 24. Okay, well right here I've got to distribute. And so 24 times 5/6. Now when you multiply a fraction times, it's better to do the division first. So 24 divided by 6 is 4, times 5 would be 20. So that's going to be 20 times b, and now there's no fraction. 24 times 5/6. See, 24 times 5 is 120, and 120 divided by 6 is 20. But it's easier to do the divide first. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and then 4 times 5 is 20. Plus, now do the same thing here. 24 times 1/2. Well, 24 divided by 2 would be 12. Times 1 is 12, so that's a 12. Over here, 24 times 7/8. Well, 24 times 7 is a little hard to do, but what you can do is 24 divided by 8, which is 3, and then times by 7. And it makes it so much easier to do it that way. And now I'm going to minus 12 on both sides. And notice my equation has no fractions at all now. So it's just a real simple equation to do. It's going to have 20b equals 9. And then divide both sides by 20. And you get 9 over 20. So you get the same answer, but I think this way is quite a bit easier. Let's go to this next one. We'll see what you think after it. So on this one, 5... okay, so I'm going to subtract 1/5 on both sides. I started to do it this way. So I've got negative 2/5 times b equals, so I don't have a common denominator here, so I'm going to have to, 4 and 5 both go into 20. So I'm going to multiply this times 5 and 5 to get 5 over 20. And here I'm going to do 4 and 4. That's going to get 4 over 20. And now they match, so 5 minus 4 is just 1 over 20. And now I got to divide by negative 2/5. This will cancel, and b equals. All right, so when you divide fractions, keep, change, flip. I keep this first one, I change to multiply, and I flip the bottom one, which is going to be 5 over -2. And then I can do cross cancel right here. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 24 times. So I got 1 times 1 on top, which is 1. And then 4 times -2 is -8. So it's going to be -1/8. There's what my answer would be. Okay. But if you do it this other way, which I like this other way a little better, my common denominator was going to be 20. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 20. Now here's where you just got to be careful on doing this. When you distribute, you got to make sure you don't make any mistakes. So 20 times -2/5 is going to be -40 over 5, which is -8. B. I like doing the divide first though. 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 4 times -2 is -8. Plus 20 times 1/5, or 20 divided by 5 is 4, times 1 is 4. Over here, 20 divided by 4 is 5, times 1 is 5. And now there's an equation with no fractions at all. I minus 4 on both sides, and then divide by -8. And I get -1/8. Either way I do it. But I think this way right here, it might be a little easier to do. All right, now we'll go down to this next problem here, where they kind of change up a little bit. And I'm just going to do it that second way on these. I think it's easier to do. But look at my denominators here. I got a 7, a 2, and a 14. What is something that all three of those go into? And you want to stay as low as you can. And actually, I think 14. 7 goes into 14, 2 goes into 14. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to multiply both sides by 14. Okay? So now when I do that, remember, I've got to distribute. So I got to do it here and here. So 14 times this, well, 14 divided by 7 would be 2. So basically those will cancel, and I got 2 times this. Now you got to distribute the 2 times that. See, 14 divided by 7 is 2. So I've got 2 times all this. So 2 times 2x would be 4x. 2 times 9 would be 18. And so there's what I get when I do 14 times that one. So you got to remember that 14 divided by 7 is 2. So I've got 2 times all that. Minus 14 times 5 halves. Well, 14 divided by 2 is 7, times 5 is 35. Equals. And then 14 divided by 14 just cancels, and it's just 3. So there you go. There's my equation with no fractions at all. All right, here's like terms right there, so I'm going to put them together. So it's 4x, and then 18 minus 35 is a -17. Okay, and then I'm going to add 17 both sides. That's a 20, and then divide by 4, and this is easy now, 5. 5 is my answer. Let's put it back in, check it, make sure, okay? So if I put, now I got to look through past all the drawing I did up here. So right here I've got 2 times 5, which is 10, plus 9 is 19. So I've got 19 over 7. I'm going to write it right here. So 2 times 5 is 10, plus 9 is 19 over 7. Minus 5 over 2. I'm writing it up here. Equals, that's 3 over 14. So when I subtract these, I should get 3 over 14. Well, if I get common denominators, I got to multiply top and bottom by 2. And here I got to do top and bottom by 7. That's going to give me 2 times 19, which is 38. 2 times 7 is 14. So I got a 14 denominator. Right here, 5 times 7 is 35. 2 times 7 is 14. And now you can see my denominators match. So 38 minus 35 is 3. 3 over 14. So this does work out. So my answer down here was correct. Okay, I do suggest checking your answers a little bit. Here's some more. Here's another one. So look at my denominators, 18 and 2, they both go into 18. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 18. Okay, now when I do this side, this distributes. So 18 divided by 18 is just 1, so those just cancel. And it's just going to be 1 times this. Now, I don't want to mark this out because I still have to multiply it to here. So, but 1 times 2x is 2x minus 5 plus. Now I do 18 times this one. Well, 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. Equals 18 times 4 is 72. And there you go. There's my equation with no fractions at all. All right, here's like terms, so let's add them together. Negative 5 plus 81 is 76. And then subtract 76 on both sides. And that's a negative 4. And then divide by 2. Negative 2 is an answer. So distributing, I think, makes the problem so much easier. It gets all the fractions out of the way, and then you can just solve it like normal. If I plug my negative 2 in to check, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4, minus 5 is negative 9, so that's going to be negative 9 over 18, which simplifies to negative 1/2, so I'm just going to write negative 1/2, plus 9/2, that's going to be 8/2, so negative 1 plus 9 is 8, so it's going to be 8/2, which is 4, and see, that's what it has to equal 4, so it checks out good. All right, I'm going to do one more here, and then I'll be finished here. So, again, I got these denominators. So, 3 and 5, well, they both go into 15. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 15. Okay? All right, so I'm going to multiply here. Well, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So, really, I've got 5 times this one. See, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So, it's 5 times this. So, distribute that. 5 times 2x is 10x. 5 times 7 is 35. Okay. Now, bring the 15 times this one. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So really, I've got 3 times that one. So 3 times 3x is 9x. There's a plus right here. Didn't write it down. So 3 times 3x is 9x. And 3 times 6 is 18. And there you go. Now here I do 15 times this one. We'll distribute that. So 15 times 2x will be 30x. 15 times negative 6 will be negative 90. So there's my equation with no fractions at all. Okay, now there's like terms here. 10x plus 9x will be 19x. 35 plus 18 is going to be 53. So there you go. Add my like terms here. All right, now there's x's on both sides, so I'm going to subtract 30 x's and bring them over here to this side. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 53 to get rid of that. I'm going to do both of these at the same time. That's going to give me a negative 11x here. That's going to go away. That's going to go away. And over here, I got negative 143. Okay, and I can divide both sides by negative 11. And so when I divide over here, that's going to be, what is that, 13? X is 13. Okay, and I suggest checking them. If I put my 13, now you got to look at the original problem, so I got to ignore some of this stuff I drew in there. But if I put 13, 2 times 13 is 30, plus 7 is 37. I'm sorry. 2 times 13 is 26. I don't know where I was getting 30. 2 times 13 is 26. Plus 7 is 33. Over 3 is 11. Over here, 3 times 13 is 39. 39 plus 6 is 45. And 45 divided by 5 is 9. And that's a 20. All right, now what do I get when I put 13 in over here? So 2 times 13 is 26. 26 minus 6 is also 20. So I got 20 on both sides, which tells me my answer 13 is correct. Okay. Anyway, that's solving equations with fractions. And hopefully you'll be able to get them. If you need some help, just let me know. I'll help you all I can. Have a good rest of the day.